Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Erev Sukkot 2014. First of all, a reminder, it is Wednesday, and we're now going to have 2 days of Yom Tov. That's going to be Thursday and Friday. That's for people living outside of Israel. And then it's going to go right into Shabbos. So that's 3 days in a row, what people like to call a 3-day Yom Tov. They mean 2 days of Yom Tov leading right into Shabbos. Whenever that happens, we need to make an Eruv Tavshilin. I already explained it before. I'll just restate it really quickly. What it does is it gives you permission to cook on Friday afternoon some of the cooking that will be in preparation for Shabbos. But you're not allowed to prepare on Yom Tov for Shabbos. So an Eruv Tavshilin says, initially most of my preparation was officially done on Wednesday, on Erev Yom Tov. And then I'm only touching it up when I continue with it on Friday afternoon. And therefore, whatever I'm doing on Friday afternoon is viewed as a continuation of what I started on Wednesday, and on Wednesday you certainly were allowed to prepare for Shabbos. That's the quick gist of what an Erev Tavshilin is, and you're supposed to do that this Wednesday afternoon if you're having 2 days of Yom Tov leading right into Shabbos. Sorry I said that quickly, but it's already been said. And if you need any review on it, please ask your rabbi about it. If you forget to do an Erev Tavshilin, you're often covered because a lot of rabbis in your town, when they say the Erev Tavshilin, say, this is for me, and they remembered to do it, and it's for everybody who's in this city, and they sort of did the ceremony for you. If you don't know how to do the ceremony, it's well explained in any good sitter, and follow the directions there. Oh, on Shabbos, this is my last chance to talk to you before Shabbos. On Shabbos, your lulav and esrog are not to be used. The rabbis felt that if we would allow the use of the lulav and esrog on Shabbos, somebody might inadvertently carry it in an area that didn't have an Eruv. So they just said no. No lulav, no esrog. Even if you are in a town where there is an Eruv, they just said nope, nope, nope. Nobody used lulav and esrog on Shabbos, and that's what we do until this day. I want to just touch on quickly the interesting question of smelling an esrog. I'm going to start out of order here. If you were to smell an esrog, to pick up an esrog, specifically to smell it, and if you were to do that before or after Sukkot, then it would be quite clear that you would make a special bracha, the one that's listed in your siddur, for smelling the delicious smell that is inside of fruits. But I started there because the law is more simple when we're outside of Sukkot. So yes, if you pick up an esrog specifically to smell it outside of the holiday of Sukkot, then you would make a bracha for smelling it. It gets more complicated on Sukkot itself because the halacha is that when you're picking up the esrog to do the mitzvah of lulav and esrog, and you inadvertently or whatever, you end up smelling it while you're doing the mitzvah, no bracha is required in that setting because you're in the middle of the mitzvah of netilas lulav and esrog, and therefore you weren't picking it up to smell, you weren't intending to smell it, and therefore no bracha is required. If you picked up your lulav and esrog any time during the day when you could have been fulfilling the mitzvah, some say that too doesn't qualify as a picking it up to smell it needing a bracha, and therefore some poskim say that you don't make a bracha on the smelling of the esrog when you pick it up any time during the day. If you picked up an esrog at night specifically to smell it, that is a time when you can't be fulfilling the mitzvah of netilas lulav and esrog, and therefore it would clearly require a bracha to pick it up and smell it. But because the laws are complicated, and we never want to say a bracha when it wasn't required, and it's not necessary because it's like God's name in vain, therefore, I hope I haven't lost you here, therefore, here it is in short if I lost you, therefore the halacha is that the Shulchan Aruch says best to not pick up an esrog to smell it on Sukkot. Mostly because you're going to get into a complication of whether you should or shouldn't say a bracha, and we don't like to put ourselves into complications of, I might need to say the bracha, but maybe I shouldn't because I shouldn't say God's name in vain, so you might get caught either way. Not saying a bracha where you should have, saying a bracha where you shouldn't have. So we try to tell people to not smell their esrog on purpose during Sukkot at all. If you inadvertently get the smell in your nose while doing the mitzvah of lulav and esrog, don't worry about that at all. That's fine, that's normal, that's natural, and no bracha is at all necessary. All I'm saying in this short, little complicated halacha is don't pick up your esrog on purpose to smell it on the holiday of Sukkot, especially during the daytime, because it's going to lead to a whole confusion as to whether or not it needs a bracha for being smelled, and we don't like to put ourselves into those confusing bracha situations. That's what the law is. So If the smell of the estrog inadvertently enters your nose, enjoy it and it's fine. Make no bracha. But don't pick it up on purpose to smell it because it'll get too complicated. Have a great Yontif. Log on again after Yontif and Shabbos for more laws. Bye-bye.